Hello, sisters. Already. So. Sometimes StreamYard, I'm like, what are you doing? Because, okay, now it says 8 viewers. Okay. Hello. So, first of all, apologies for starting late. I thought that 1 hour was enough time to, like, get home from work, get a snack, feed the cat, you know? But turns out I needed, like, an hour and 10 minutes to do that. Also, I'm sure many of you are like, Benji. Oh, also, my name is Beaver now. Beaver. Yeah. I'm sure many of you are like, Beaver, where the fuck have you been? I've just been working a lot. And I'm also taking like this feminist course, which is kind of like a history, like feminism, how it got to where it is now. Very, very good course. Highly recommend. With Jane Claire Jones through the Center for Feminist Thought. A+ course. But yeah, between that and working like 50 hours a week, just been like not really a lot of time for the YouTubes. All right, so here we are. I have my iced coffee. We have the article, as always, links in the description. And also, as always, I'm going to state the time that I would like this to end. Then probably we'll go over. But like, let's at least attempt some control. Also, lighting today might be weird. Just because it's like a nice day, so I have all my windows open. Usually I have my curtains closed so I can control the lighting when I stream. But I was like, no, because Momo's enjoying. Momo? See, she's like enjoying the sun. So I didn't really want to like close the curtain for her. All right. Right, so as you know, or if it's your first time tuning in, maybe you don't know, but I like to read my stuff fresh. So what that means is I intentionally do not read what we're going to talk about on the channel beforehand. So I saw women on Twitter basically being like, fuck Debbie. And then someone told me that Julie Bindel had like written a response to this. And obviously, I saw some quotes. I think the only part I've read is like the last paragraph. I think somebody like screen capped it and I read that and I was like, oh, I think. Oh yeah, the whole like, if it's not nice, don't say it or whatever. Like fucking, who decides what's nice, bro? You. Shut the fuck up. Okay, so before we get going, this video is not sponsored by Diet Coke. It is sponsored by this iced coffee I made downstairs. Very ineffectively with my French press, and there's not coffee grinds in it. But you know what? Like, life moves on or whatever. Also, look, it's like the same color as the curtain, kind of, almost. So, before we get going, some of my general thoughts about David Hayton. He has like some staying power, which I don't really understand. Because, you know, there's been a lot of like GC Tims who come to prominence over the years, but none of them have stuck around and been friends with high profile women as much as David Debbie Hayton, yeah? I don't really get it why so many women put so much stock in his actions and his words for so many years. But like here we are, as fucking expected, obviously. Momo's like being dramatic, sorry. So for those of you who don't know, who is David Hayton? Well, I think the general gender critical sphere of the internet became aware of him when he was in, oh fuck, someone's gonna tell me because I can't remember. What's the name of that documentary with Stella O'Malley? Where unprompted, she turned to David Hayton's wife and was like, do you consider yourself a lesbian now? And I can't even remember what her answer was. But her body language was like, you know, she was so fucking uncomfortable. as we learned after that documentary. I don't remember what year it was. I don't remember what it was called, but Stella O'Malley is not in like tons of documentaries. I'm sure you can find it. As we learned afterwards, his wife is deeply religious and does not believe in divorce. So she's stuck with this shithead. I remember Debbie laughing about that when it was asked of her. Her answer was no. Thank you, Kitty. But David laughed about it. David is a school teacher in the UK. I think I think it was this, but I can't remember why the fuck David Hayton was in it. Just to be like a gender critical trans, probably. He's a school teacher. Pretty sure he teaches like last year physics or something, science, can't remember. Pretty sure it's physics. And he's on a teachers union in a position of authority. I can't remember. I'm not fucking British. I don't remember all the names of specific stuff that I learned about, but he's a position of authority. He is part of the reason why British public schools are now have like co-ed washrooms. So I don't really fucking understand why so many GCs up until now were like, well, our Debbie, like this sweet, nice man who like knows that his penis is male and what a sweetie pie. Like, no. Every time I read one of these articles, which is like British girls have stopped going to school during their periods. British girls are getting bullied at school by boys in the washrooms. British girls are getting assaulted by boys in the washroom because they can't like fucking escape them when they go to the toilets or whatever, if you're British, the toilet, or if you're American, the bathroom, whatever. And every single fucking time I read one of those things, I'm like, if only someone like, Sweet Debbie gave a fuck to try to do something about that. No, instead, he was part of the reason that it arrived at the state it's in right now. And then he was just like, well, I know sex is real, but like, what you gonna do? Something. Like, if you care about the education and safety of fucking girls in England in your schools, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So yeah, this is like my general thoughts about Debbie / David Hayton. I was going into this thinking I'm just gonna call him David for the whole live stream, but actually, since I like never fucking talk about him, I think of him as Debbie because it's what I read, right? So we'll see how successful that is. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Jessica says that the bar is in hell. Yeah. The other thing is like, so he's written a lot of stuff to be like, he's doing that same thing that a lot of the GC Tims do, which is where they're like, I'm going to be so honest and so transparent, and therefore you should like trust me. They want sympathy. They want attention. They want validation. They are just doing it in a very different way than a TRA is doing it. But at the end of the day, they are trying to they're like emotional vampires the same way like TRAs are. They're just a man who wants to like jerk off from getting attention from women, whether metaphorically or literally, okay? So it's like the same fucking shit to me. So as a result, he has spoken like very candidly about his experience of AGP. Honestly, I've blocked a lot of it out. But what I do know, and like, that's a great thing to do if you're like a school teacher working with children, A+. What I do know is that he has talked about how his clothing is a part of like his fetish as an AGP. And how like going out in the day-to-day world wearing that clothing like validates his identity, as well as like, gives credence to the reality of his sexual fantasies or whatever. So, and I'm like, you wear that shit in school with kids every day. Like, I don't really care about gender conformity, gender nonconformity, obviously, GNC-centric, but if you're going to tell us it's part of your fetish and explain to us in detail how, like, random people on the street are, like, participating in your fetish, and then telling us you're going to go into, like, a classroom working with children. Maple says trans actually get extra validation from being, quote unquote, one of the few real ones. Yeah, very true. Oh yeah, that's Kitty Cat's mentioning some stuff too. Yeah, he also, like, there's been a couple of things which I don't know if they've been substantiated. I've definitely seen screen caps of him like in group chats, in like WhatsApp groups or something, where he like jokes about using the women's washrooms at like turf events, or he jokes about staying in like women's hostels when he goes traveling to like gender critical events and stuff. So this is all just like a big fucking. He reminds me of like, you know, MRAs, like men's rights activists, how they will like purposely flirt with like a ugly woman just to get her to like feel like a guy gives, like, you know what I mean? And then they think it's like fucking hilarious. Like that's how I think he treats rad femmes and gender critical women. Like he's like, oh, you're gonna think I'm on your side and then I give a shit about you, but like I'm actually looking down on you because you're all like, you know, just like props in my sexual fantasies or whatever insanity, because he's like an egotistical piece of shit guy. All right, so with all of that 10 minutes of preamble, fueled by the power of artificially sweetened iced coffee, let's go. Okay, so as always, I put the regular link and the archive link in the description so you can follow along. And if for some reason these things go missing in a few years, you'll still be able to access them. I usually use the archive link just because there's no ads on the sides. I found in my videos sometimes just like stuff flashing on the sides of the page. Right. So how should we do this? Is this the way? I feel like, wasn't there a way we did it in the past where like my face was? No, I think this is it. All right. So I'm gonna try very hard to just like read a paragraph and then respond and not respond to like every fucking word, because as you know, in the past when I've done that, the video's taken like 3 hours. All right, so the transgender debate has a habit of bringing out the worst in people. It's no wonder, really. It's an issue rooted in identity and therefore close to people's hearts, and spiced up with the fear that fundamental concepts like the meaning of the words man and woman might be redefined by others and to their advantage. It's then hosted on social media, an environment where grown adults seem to forget that there are real human beings involved. Yeah. I would say, possible person, what is up, sister? Anyway, sorry. I would say, you know, Debbie, like when you had some responsibility in fucking over the single sex washrooms in the UK, maybe you could have thought about those girls and considered that they are real human beings. You know? Like what a bunch of bullshit. It's like so fucking, I don't know. I haven't read a lot of stuff by him before, so I don't know if this is like his usual tone of voice or if he's trying to set himself up as like very like moderate and very reasonable or something. Even the rich and famous can succumb. Over the weekend, J.K. Rowling became embroiled in an unedifying spat over a transgender football manager. This is not Premier League stuff. Lucy Clark hit the headlines in 2018 as the quote-unquote world's first ever transgender football referee. Clark has now become the first manager of the top 5 division of England's women football. Okay. While the news was clearly important to a social media account calling itself Pride UK org, it's not clear to me why anyone would really care. Okay, fucking, what the fuck? This is like so much profanity. Shut the fuck up, David. I don't know about the structure or the process or whatever of women's football. That's not, like, I don't know anything about this. But what I can say is that if this is usually a position that's occupied by women, it's understandable why this position being occupied by this fucking, you know, porn sick man is a problem. Especially because it's like he's in the top 5 divisions. So like, is he in a position of like, he's like, you know, ascended to a higher position while being a fucking Tim? And even if it's not a position that's traditionally held by women, for any woman to have to walk face to face, like every day, get to work, or if this is not professional, like, you know, go do something you're passionate about, that you're skilled with, that you have invested a lot of time and money in, to go and do that, and you have to look at a fucking man who's like a walking parody of your actual lived experience, is so fucking offensive. I cannot get over he's like, I don't really see why it's a big deal. That's the fucking problem, man, and why nobody should have listened to what you had to say about anything in the first place. Like, I don't understand why anyone gave a shit what this fucking man had to say about anything, ever. Unless he's teaching a physics class, why do we care what he has to say? Like, he only feels that he has a leg to stand on because a bunch of women have been fucking blowing smoke up his ass for years. Like, he honestly is acting in a completely predictable way. There are the women who blew smoke up his ass, honestly. But I kind of hold them more accountable than him because I don't really expect men to be anything other than what they are, which is this. I do expect better from women. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Football management is open to both sexes, and whoever a club chooses to manage its team is a matter for it and its supporters. However, it bothered Rowling enough to tell her 14.1 million followers on Twitter that, quote, when I was young, all the football managers were straight, white, middle-aged blokes. So it's fantastic to see how much things have changed. End quote. Okay, well, like, fucking, what's the problem with that? She's pointing out that it's always been men in positions of authority over women, even in women's own shit, which is like this English women's football division. And that it's still like a sexist situation for the women. What's wrong with that? Like, Debbie, David, you say that you're gender critical. You know that this man is a man. So what the she literally is just stating facts. What's the problem? Any uncertainty over her mood was dispelled when she reacted to the inevitable outrage that followed. Mail Online suggested that she had compared Clark to a quote unquote straight white middle aged bloke. Rowling's response was cutting. Quote, I didn't compare him to one. He is one. End quote. Again, fucking David, I thought you were gender critical. Do you think that this man is not a heterosexual, middle aged male? Like, the foundation of this entire article makes no sense to me if we're supposed to believe that David Hayton is already gender critical. I don't also think that it's like insulting or humiliating or anything to literally state a fact at all. Like, I believe that to like a very extreme degree, that like stating something that's reality is not humiliating. Okay. Or it's, it's not meant to be an insult. Whether you agree with Rowling or not, her tone is remarkably different to the essay she wrote in 2020 when she set out her reasons for speaking out on sex and gender. Then she wrote, quote, trans people need and deserve protection, and I want trans women to feel safe. End quote. Okay, why does she like open? Oh, okay, whatever. So, a few things to say. First of all, what tone? Her tone is literally like just fact checking this conjecture. Because like Daily Mail says that she's cruelly mocking someone. I don't think that it's mocking to say like, oh, things haven't changed. That's not mocking anyone. Like, if she had commented on this man's appearance or commented on something he said, like maybe you could say it's mocking. She literally is like, oh, it's another man, just like how it's always been men. That's not mocking. That's like a fucking fact. And then she's not saying anything specifically about him. I mean, she is, but she's basically responding to this Daily Mail Online and being like, I'm not mocking him to say that he is a male. Like, the whole thing is so insane. And then for Debbie / David to also take the same position, to be like, oh, it's it's insulting or bullying or mocking or whatever, to look at a man and say that's a fucking man. Like, okay, so David is like, the tone was different in 2020. Like, well, first of all, fucking yes, that was J.K. Rowling's like first step into this like realm. So obviously she was being cautious about it and like very measured. I'm sure like lawyers or something read her essay before she published it. Like, I'm sure it was like really carefully done. And also she's been around for 4 years now. So I bet you that she has seen a lot of bullshit, is better at calling out bullshit. I bet you she's evolved in her thinking about stuff. Like, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I made myself bigger. Okay, I think that's better. Why? Oh, here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so it makes sense to me why J.K. Rowling either has changed the way she thinks about things or has just like stopped censoring herself as much. That makes complete sense to me. It's not surprising. Um, for those of you who've been watching me for a long time, the language I use, the tone that I have, the amount of stuff that I'm willing to call out as bullshit when I first started streaming versus now is like huge, huge difference, right? What I don't understand, or I mean, I do understand, but I don't understand why David Hayton thinks he can get away with it, is how David Hayton could start off as being like, I'm gender critical. I'm on the side of women. I know that reality exists. And now he's basically being like, when you guys notice reality, it's kind of bullying. It's kind of insulting. Can you like stop being so fucking cruel and noticing reality? What I don't understand is why he thought this shit was gonna fly. Like, from where I'm sitting, someone said this in the live chat. They were like, well, David was always, out for his own shit, self aggrandizing, like living his fetish, hurting his wife and presumably the other women and girls around him with his fucking AGP crap, because he's selfish. And then he just thought, like, well, this gender critical shit, it's like, this is time to get in on that. Like, the tide is turning. If I get in at the right time, saying the right things, I can get a lot of attention and validation for being like the special one or like the true one or like whatever. And if he did that with that intention, then it makes sense that his actual views on things haven't changed. He just said what he needed to say to get the right kind of attention from the right kind of women. So he's done that. And now it seems to me like his true colors are showing. Like I said, I haven't read a lot of his work before. I definitely have seen some stuff where he was interviewed, but I can't fucking remember what it was. Like, when I became like a lesbian separatist a few years ago, I like block men online. I try not to watch stuff with men. Like, I just don't waste my time with them. So I don't really know if this is like wildly out of character for him, but it just seems to me like this is kind of like boilerplate Tim position on things. Don't notice I'm a man because my fetish is that I'm a female. Like, okay, what's new? Anyway, um, okay, let's keep reading. In her lengthy and considered statement posted last month, she added, quote, some people feel strongly that they should have been or wish to be seen as the sex class into which they weren't born. Gender dysphoria is a real and very painful condition, and I feel nothing but sympathy for anyone who suffers from it. I want them to be free to dress and present themselves however they like, and I want them to have exactly the same rights as every other citizen regarding housing, employment, and personal safety. End quote. Okay, yeah, so what? Like, I'm like a misandrist or whatever. I don't think that means that like men should step out the door and bad things happen to them. So what? I can like be unhappy with the things that men are doing and not think that they should like face danger every fucking day. Like, the fact that we're gonna see what he's about to say about this shit. The fact that he posts this as like, see, she fucking blind or whatever, just shows me his mindset. So his mindset obviously is that like, I deserve special status because I'm a man. I deserve to be like extra respected and extra listened to and extra praised because like I'm doing nice things for the women's, even though I'm a man, and it's like not in my interest to do that. So I deserve like all the back pats and all the smoke up my ass and whatever. Um, and you say that you want me to feel safe, but you don't want to like, kiss my feet. That's basically what I think he's trying to say. I mean, he's saying like, so you say you respect trans people and don't want them to be in danger, but you don't want them to feel like they have a special status in society by virtue of being trans. Wow, you must fucking hate them. This is literally like TRA perspective. Men's perspective on men's things. Yeah, Jay has something very interesting to say. Jay says, what's changed since 2020? The new law criminalizing speech in Scotland, loads of death threats. Yeah. Yeah, Maple. Majorly concerning with like the reading comprehension shit, honestly. Should I put my picture at the top of the screen? You know what? Like, I don't care. Let's keep going. How far are we into this shit? God, how are we gonna survive? This is already so painful. Has she changed her mind in a month? Or is she being manipulated by her environment? Fucking of course. Fucking of course. Because women don't know their own mind and they can't think for themselves. And they're just ruled by their emotions. Don't worry. He's not being sexist because he's a Tim, so he understands women more than the average man. Is she being manipulated by her environment? Fucking shut the fuck up. Twitter might have rebranded itself as X, but the rules of the game are the same. Oh my god, it's like so pompous. The quote tweet is possibly the most brutal weapon that exists on social media, especially in the hands of influencers with thousands of followers. I mean, yeah, undeniably true. Anything an opponent says can be captured and broadcast to your audience. Sarcasm, ridicule, or downright abuse that set the tone for the mob who can pile on and deluge the original with more of the same and worse. Okay, yeah, fucking social media exists. Jessica says, I think a lot of them can't tell the difference between being told no and actual harm. Yeah, exactly. Because they're like, it's like ego harm. Recently, as part of Jane Claire Jones's course, I read the Red Stockings Manifesto, and like the first one from 1968, 1969. Yeah. And the entire thing is about male ego. And it was like, it was stuff that I already knew, but when they positioned it, everything that male supremacy is in the context of male ego, it was like as soon as you do anything to like, you know, step around the male ego, confront the male ego, have your own ego, like, you know, in relation to the male ego, which you're not supposed to do, they fucking lose their shit. And I'm like, yeah, so you can't say no when their status is that of the person who's never said no to. Like, it's such a male fucking mindset to have. Anyway. Okay, so social media exists. We're all fucking more educated. Thanks so much, David. Also, sorry, I keep like stumbling over my words. I'm just really tired. Like, I started work at 5:30 a.m. and it's now like almost 4 p.m. or something. Now it's 3:30. Oh fuck. I told my friend to like watch and text me and my fucking phone is off. Okay, she's texting me. Okay, quote from my friend. This David guy saying that she is somehow putting this man in danger is kind of giving, quote unquote, women are hurting us when they laugh. Yeah. Maybe grow a fucking spine. David and whoever this Lucy soccer ref guy is. She said, like, it's like that whole thing about how women are afraid that men will kill us and men are afraid that women will laugh at them. Like, fucking get your priorities straight. And this is why, again, I don't fucking understand why any women gave this man the time of day, ever, to begin with, like, at all. Like, I know in, like, was it 2017 or something, 2018, when a lot of, like, gender critical or feminist groups in the UK were getting on their feet, I think that they didn't really have, like, any political integrity yet. Like, they didn't really have, like, a very thought out, like, this is our like long-term political goals and our short-term political goals, and like this is who we need to work with now, and this is who we need to work with in the future, and this is how it's gonna like. I didn't think that they had like a, you know, super complex political understanding of their position and what their actions were impacting, like how their actions were impacting that position. So it's like understandable to me why a bunch of them did get involved with Tim's. Then it's also understandable to me why they all were like, oh, The trans widows don't like that. The detransitioners don't like that. The Colin Stealing survivors don't like that. The feminists who don't really want to give a fuck about men don't. A lot of women don't like that. So like, let's stop doing that. Kind of undermining our position. I don't understand why they kept giving him the time of day when he literally is like, when women look at me and don't tell me what I want to hear, they're being meanies. Like, who fucking gives a shit what this man has to say? Okay, I mean, obviously me, I guess, because we're reading it. But, no. Mark, are you a man? I'm just gonna assume you're a man. You might not know that because you may have been new to 30 women who are watching, but men are not allowed in the live chat. So if anyone is in the live chat who's a man, like leave. I already recognize all of you. But if you are a man, like just say something and we're gonna kick you out. You know, once in a while we have women here who are like, oh, like my name's James or whatever, like online. That's fine. But like anyway, no men. Okay. My friend at the end, she's like, you're not reading my text, but these are my 2 cents in all caps. Thanks, sis. All right, let's keep going. Like okay, I'm gonna try to read whole paragraphs. Sorry. If Twitter is anything, it is a great leveler. I'm missing a comma. Notable people with huge followings inhabit the same space as private individuals, but as well as sharing the same medium, human beings also share the same emotions. I don't like where this is going. We like to be noticed. And when the likes and friendly replies flood into the phone, dopamine can flood the brain. No matter who you are, this has the potential to become addictive. Oh my god, fucking dude, we know what social media is. Can you stop being so fucking... Social media followers then often demand increasingly direct and shocking posts to stay on board. Is this happening to Rowling? That's not for me to say, but her output has become increasingly single issue. Even the man in charge of the platform has noticed. Last week, Elon Musk told Rowling, while I heartily agree with your points regarding sex and gender, may I suggest also posting interesting and positive content on other matters. But those other matters might not bring in the hits. Oh my fucking god. Yeah, Kitty's like, stop, David. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, when Elon Musk said that, people were like, isn't this like the internet version of a man telling a woman to smile? And everyone fucking roasted him. So, like, again, just like how I'm confused what he thought the reception to this article was going to be, I'm confused why he thinks bringing that up is going to, like, get anyone on side. Because basically he's like, I'm being sexist and he's being sexist. We'll be sexist together. So, like, agree with us, right? Like, no, that's not how it works. This entire perspective really drives home to me that for David Hayton, this is really like a hobby for him. This is like a special interest project for him. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I engage with feminism not to do with like trans things, like feminism generally, on a day-to-day basis. Like, whether it's networking with women, whether it's helping women access resources, whether it's connecting women with like literature, like I also have like a zine printing press that I've started. So if you need zines, contact me. I'll print them for you at cost. Like I'm constantly doing feminism things. It monopolizes my life, but it's like gives me like purpose and fulfillment, and it's something that I care a lot about because I care about women. So he's like, J.K. Rowling, doing all the feminisms all the time. Don't you have a life? And it's like the fact that you could even make that statement shows that you don't understand what feminism is. You don't understand that why for women, feminism is not just like this like fun hobby they do on the weekends. Like it's to do with like our quality of life, like the quality of our mental health, the quality of our access to resources. Like feminism is fundamental to women's lives. For him to be like, why does she do it so much? Doesn't she have anything else to do? And it's like he literally pointed out, she's like, well, she's got all these followers. Okay, great. So she's obviously recognized that this is like one of the most influential things she can do to push the needle on this issue. And so she's decided to use her followers for this one specific goal. The way I see it, maybe I don't agree with every single thing she says. Can't really think of anything, but I'm just like assuming because, you know, we're all humans. But um the way I see it is that she was like, this is my goal, to make this issue. I think she's basically trying to like step into the overtone window on this issue and like open it up to the average everyday person who's not very into politics or who isn't kind of like into fringe politics, or like, you know what I mean? But she's trying to make it more like mainstream, talk about this stuff. And so she's like dedicated her Twitter to that goal. The way I see it is that she was like, this is my goal. These are the resources I have to do it. Like, you know, she's like sued people for like defaming her, calling her transphobic when she said stuff that wasn't transphobic. Like, she has put her resources behind this. One of her resources is her Twitter following. I actually think it's completely consistent with her position and her goals to be doing this. I would be really surprised actually if she just kind of stopped one day and was like, have you ever seen guinea pigs or something? Like, I would be really fucking confused. So it makes complete sense to me. Again, this is just a man being butthurt because women are focused on the fact that men are hurting them. Should have made a TRA bingo sheet. This is so cliche. Time where it says only men are allowed to fight for a worthy cause. If a woman does it, then it's an obsession. Yeah. Kitty Cat says feminism is about our existence and how we exist in the world. But yeah, sure. Shouldn't take it too seriously. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm actually surprised. Okay, we're almost done. I'm surprised how much of this. Well, okay. Let's say this. I'm not surprised how little substance there is to this think piece. What is there to think about? It's so fucking asinine. Um, but it's mostly just being like social media exists and is a toxic place. It's like, okay, bro, we know. We saw this because we're all like on the internet, actually. Like Spectator probably exists at this point solely because the internet exists. Like you fucking that's so stupid. Okay. Of course, we all have a right to say what we think. But politics, oh, don't tell me what you think about politics. But politics is about persuading people as well as playing to the crowd. And while your social media followers might applaud your every word, your one negative comment in 100 can be dissected, quoted, most likely out of context, and broadcast to startled bystanders who have yet to pick a side. Kindness is a virtue, and lack of kindness can be off-putting. Okay, so first of all, I think that J.K. Rowling understands this because she has had her tweets taken wildly out of context to, provide wild proof about her terribleness many, 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 many times. I'm sure that even happened to her before she stepped into the gender critical shit. I'm sure she fucking understands it because she's a woman on the internet. And women on the internet understand what the fuck you're talking about. It's not like something that needs to be explained to us, okay? Um Also, like this is something he mentioned in the last paragraph, but he was like, she needs to basically engage with this to keep her followers happy. She doesn't need to do fuck all to keep her followers happy. She has so much fame and money that like she can kind of do whatever the fuck she wants. She doesn't need to pander to anyone, you know? Um I'm sure like I said, her political goals are like specific, so she doesn't want to piss everyone off, but he's acting like she's just like, a slave to the internet mob at this point, and that's completely I don't think that's true at all. Um Now he's trying to explain the politics of feminism to us. Fucking shut up. So he's like, kindness is a virtue. People will be off put if you're not kind. You know what feminism is? Centering women. You know what centering women is? Decentering men. You know what people interpret as cruelty and meanness and unkindness when you decenter men. So it's like actually fucking impossible to be feminist without being seen as like cruel and mean and like unkind and off putting and all this shit. Like you're stepping out of the norms of like socially enforced behavior just by doing feminism. So it's not gonna fucking go well no matter how kind you try to be and how friendly you try to be and how much you try to like couch it in like specific terminology or whatever. Like, yeah, Waterbender says she has been so classy and polite and kind. It's unbelievable, especially given the amount of abuse she receives. Yeah, honestly, I think she is like one of the most measured voices in the entire gender critical sphere. Um, Oh, thank you, Estella. Uh, yeah, Jean Dalk is mentioning David Hayton in group chats with GC women. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, P.S. saying anything I disagree with is automatically unkind. Yeah. Like again, okay, we're gonna read this final paragraph, which is what convinced me to do this. Like I saw a screen cap of it. And it's like who decides what's off-putting? Who decided that kindness is a virtue? Who considers kindness to be a virtue? Like it's just there is no analysis. There is no political understanding. This is just like so fucking I don't know. Okay. It does seem that gender identity ideology is on the wane, at least in the UK. Wow, fucking bold statement to make there, bro. Have you been paying attention? Um, things are definitely changing. Are they going away? I don't think so. That's like pretty fucking bold of you to say. Whatever. And there are many people who helped to push it back, but J.K. Rowling is surely one of the most notable. She came out publicly for the first time in 2019 in support of Maya Forstater, who had been forced out of her job for saying that people cannot change their biological sex. Rowling's courage, oh my god. Rowling's courage had a profound impact on campaigners when it seemed more likely that science, reason, and common sense would become trampled underfoot. Okay. Yeah, there's no amount of kindness or nuance that would make her message acceptable to many. Yeah. The complete fucking, the whole be kind thing, just smile thing is meant to fucking. Honestly, I would go so far as to say that it's meant to dehumanize women. It's meant to keep women in their roles as like props for men's little bullshits, you know? Um okay, so he was like J.K. Rowling's courage. Yeah, bro. You know, I don't think he respects her based on the tone of this. He mentions how because this is happening online, he thinks that she doesn't see the people who are being impacted as real humans. I don't think that he's treating her like a real human. And honestly, I'm not sure if I'd be able to either just because she is so fucking like high profile, like she's such a celebrity. But I genuinely think that he is treating her just like some kind of I don't know. Like this is all like an intellectual exercise for him to get something else published in the Spectator, I guess. Uh just the way he's like criticizing her, and then being like her courage. And it's like, I've read some feminist stuff where women like really go after other women. And it's not like personal attacks or trashing or like insults. It's like, okay, so you said this and you did this, but you told us your political goal was this, or you told us your like activist goal was this, and it's like doesn't make any sense. Or like you say your goal is this, and you are explaining that the way you're gonna get there is by doing ABC, and that makes no sense to me. And when feminists do that to each other, you can tell very clearly in their tone that they're like, I respect you, and so I'm gonna criticize you, like I'm gonna come at you on your level because I respect you enough to disagree with you and treat you like a person just because like, that is not the tone that comes across here. He's like, oh, this poor little woman was like manipulated by the Twitters. Let's like make sure that she's educated on like how she should behave on the interwebs. Shut the fuck up, David. Um, yeah. Hmm. Do we like this better? I think I like this better because now I can put the things at the bottom. Kitty Cat says it's giving 1820 sexism on how to be a proper lady. Yeah. Be ladylike. People will listen to what you have to say. Fucking that's not how it works. Yeah, true. Jean d'Arc says I think the political strategy was to include Tims, but luckily it sounds like most has changed. Yeah. Oh, you like this better? Yeah, okay, good. Um this last paragraph is what made me like we need to do the live stream. Like I went and like I bookmarked the link and was like we're going to do the live stream. All right. I'm going to read the whole paragraph and then I will respond. Rowling's contribution continues to be immense, but she does not need to attack individuals on social media. Yes, her frustration is justified, but I might ask children in my class who have said what they thought rather than what is wise. Is it helpful? Is it necessary? And is it true? Unless all three answers are affirmative, where's your comma? Then maybe it's best not to say it at all. Shut the fuck up, David. Was this helpful? Was this necessary? Was it true? No. So you should have shut the fuck up, actually. You should have got to the end. You finished typing. You thought, oh, what did I just write? Let's think about it. Okay, so this whole thing was unnecessary, and I'll just delete it. Speaking of kindness, Dave, you're not being very kind. Just like shut the fuck up. You can just imagine someone being like, someone recommended GNC Centric's YouTube channel to me. And like, so I opened the live stream and she was just telling this guy to shut up for like half an hour. Well, that's my number one thought about this. Shut the fuck up, David. Okay, let's like go through the paragraph now. Why are they all Dave? Why are all the Daves bad? I mean, it's a good question, Maple. Yes, okay, so first of all, this was my very first gut thought. Jessica says, did he just say he's treating her like a child? Yes. As is very clear, he's super fucking condescending. And he is treating her like a child. Which, you know, typical male bullshit. Not surprising at all. Also, doesn't he teach GCSE physics? Doesn't he teach like you like basically like, you know, last year, like 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, right before they go into university, physics? Isn't that who he teaches? Are you really telling your 17, 18-year-old students, is it necessary? Is it true? Is it helpful? Don't say, like, isn't that what you do, like, with kindergartners or something? Like, when do you get taught, like, treat your friends the way you want to be treated? Like, don't be mean to your classmates. Isn't that when you're, like, 5 years old? What the fuck? Shut the fuck up. Okay. Also, I think that J.K. Rowling does something very interesting when she makes a point of calling out individuals rather than like groups or concepts or general social problems on her Twitter. I think that what she does is gives women the confidence to do the same thing and gives merit to the idea that the institutional social issues that have led us to this place are being directed and enacted by individual men, right? So a lot of women have been talking about women in sports, right? Men getting into women's sports, how it's a problem. Well, it's easy to talk about the concept and to mention a handful of, Tims who are in women's sports. But to point out a specific Tim who has a position of authority over women in sport and say, hey, this guy is a man, and that's, maintaining the status quo. As far as I can tell, that was what her comment was trying to say. Maintaining the status quo of the sexism inherent in women's sports. I think if the point of her Twitter usage is to elevate the conversation, it's good because she's saying it's not like women's sports is under attack by some like mystery man, like a mysterious organization is like mysteriously. It's like, no, individual men are doing these things, and that is the problem. So I think it's good when she calls out individuals. And she's never being like, Like, I don't know. She's not like saying that these people should get doxxed or fired, or like she never tweets about like, like a criminal case saying what she thinks should happen. Like she never I think she's very measured in her Twitter usage. Um or she'll just say like, I disagree with this or I find this like disturbing or something. She's never like this person deserves bad things to happen to them. She just points out why she disagrees with what's happening or why it's like, weird, or like in this case why this is just like standard sexism in a new outfit. um yeah, I really think that hello soul. um I really think that if anybody's interested in this article, they should just read the last paragraph because it's really all you need to know. This man wants to treat J.K. Rowling like a child. He thinks that he is like an authority figure and that she's like just some stupid woman who's being manipulated by her followers and by her emotions, and that like he's a rational person here who's gonna like, lead her down the right path to political efficacy or whatever. It's like fucking asinine. And that's what I have to say about that. Uh I can confidently say, after reading this, I never want to read anything that Debbie Hayton has ever said ever again. I mean, that's like enough for me. Um, Maple says this whole thing is basically Dave telling Rowling to shut the fuck up. So I feel it's appropriate for Benji to tell him to shut the fuck up. Yeah. Um, okay, halftime break or whatever. I mean, not halftime because the Julie Bindel thing is really short. Okay, question, guys. I don't think I can do on StreamYard. I don't think I can do a poll. I don't think I can. Yeah. So I saw that Helen Joyce did like, I don't know, like a debate or like an interview or conversation or whatever with David Hayton about this. And I saw women being like, "Yay, good job, Helen Joyce." Do you want me to react to that? Because I kind of thought about it, but then I was remembering. Remember last time when we did the live react to Stella O'Malley? There was that fucking guy, that James or Dave or whatever the fuck his name was, and every single word out of his mouth, I was like, "You're wasting my brain power. Like, why are you saying these dumb, pointless things that you're saying?" Um, So my number one thought is like, do I really want to waste my time listening to what this man has to say again? But I kind of like the format of like a kind of debate because then I can like agree or disagree with like each person's perspectives as it goes along, and that's like a little more interesting. So I don't know. Also, I'm not sure like my work schedule has changed, so now I only have like my morning job on Fridays and not my evening job on Fridays. So I'm like theoretically for the next like 6 weeks I can stream on Fridays, but I'm not sure if it's really feasible. Like, I'm working like, I think this week I worked 52 hours. Like by Sunday we'll have worked 52 hours or something. And like doing reading for my course and stuff. And I have all my other feminist projects and like preparing for stuff I'm doing this summer. Like, I'm not really sure if it's feasible to stream again on Friday, so I'm not going to make any promises to you. But I have been thinking about what I want to stream. It's not really realistic to start a book because I'm gonna be gone like the second week of July for like a month. So I don't want to start a book and then have to stop it. So maybe we'll just do more live reacts. Kitty Cat says, David trying to school JKR on how to be a proper lady. That's all this was, and I could feel my brain melt with every sentence of this article, yeah. Maple, well, he's basically saying maybe she's not evil, just dumb, and trying to act like that's an enlightened and compassionate take. Yeah, fuck you, David. Jay says, what she said is true, and when people with fewer resources have lost so much for stating the truth, it is necessary and helpful. Mm-hmm. Jones says, the trend I'm noticing getting big is trans people going, yes, you're right, but trans people are really upset, and no one ever mentions how upset women are. Very, very, very much agree. Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Mabel says, and the live reacts are more digestible for me lately. Yeah, it's not as intellectually taxing as like the reading, because most of what we were reading was philosophy, and that's like what I really want to read more of. Um, but I don't want to like. I have such a limited amount of time until I go on my internet hiatus. Like I have like, my internet hiatus will start the second week of July, so I'm like, I do want to keep posting some stuff until then. Uh, and also like, I don't know. Anyway, so we'll see. Maybe next Friday I'll do a react thing. Okay, I'm gonna read Julie Bindel's thing. I would show you Momo, but she's like got her butt to the camera. Momo, say hello. She's like, why are you talking to me? Well, all right. Yeah, I was gonna use L brackets and build like a shelf that went like directly up to like the edge of the windowsill, and like build it in a way that I could like replace, like put towels and blankets on it to like wash them. Um. Oh, now she's here. She's like, "What's up?" Bonjour. Um. But wood is actually so fucking expensive right now. So like buying the lumber to like get the height right would have actually cost quite a bit of money. Um, and also I wasn't sure like about screwing stuff into the wall, especially under the window with the, like maybe moisture or something. So I found this cat stand thing that's like almost perfect size at Costco for like $40, and I was like, that's cheaper than the wood I was gonna buy. So, all right, let's read the Julie Bindel thing. Regal bathing in sunlight. No, dude. I have all these pictures of her that are like accidentally Renaissance or whatever. Okay, let's read the Julie Bindel thing. All right. So first of all, I don't know what movie this is from because like I don't really know pop culture, but yeah. Current mood. I love this because it's like it reminds me of like like Twitter. I mean, sorry, Facebook statuses or like MySpace statuses. Anyway, all right. So, like a number of other women, I put up with Debbie Hayton for some time, mainly because he was a useful idiot. Uh, okay, I guess. I was courteous to him, too much so, I think. I very much agree. Julie, you were way too fucking nice to this shit. When he started speaking up about the true motivations of many of the men who claimed to be women, I was delighted and accepted the few crumbs tossed at our feet, because the environment was so desperately hostile. It was simply a matter of him being one of the best of a very bad bunch. Okay, fair enough. True. This is what happens when the hate, social exclusion, and bullying wears you down. I'm one of those feminists that have been speaking out against gender ideology for a long time, 20 years in my case. At one stage, I would debate trans activists, even some of the worst, such as Paris Lee's. It got me into trouble because I was not as strong or as brave as I wanted to be. And when faced with manipulation and hostility, I would occasionally crumble and say things I regretted. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah, I'd like apologize. I can't really control what my neighbors do, so yeah. But yeah, this makes sense to me. I mean, there's a couple of like high profile gender critical women or feminist women like Julie Bindel who there's like clips of them using preferred pronouns and stuff. And it's like, well, obviously in that case, they were just like face to face with somebody and they wanted to like be nice. And it's like, is that actually what they believe and actually what they think and actually what they would have wanted to say? No. But like sometimes it gets the best of us and we just wanna, make things as smooth as possible. I soon learned that there was absolutely no point in doing this, because the reasonable people that would agree to debate me would be bullied out of doing so by the more extreme trans activists. I have been cast out so much. Sorry, I have been cast out from so much of polite society that any olive branch appeared more significant than it was. I should never have been as polite to Hayton as I was, such as the time when I saw him at a journalism party and chatted to him and his wife for what I felt like was hours, 5 minutes in reality, when in fact my heart was breaking for her and I wanted to tell Hayton he was vile. Mhm. Anyway, when Hayton published his book, what book? What's all the fucking Tims in their books? Ugh, we've heard enough from them. Like, just shut up. I decided to invite him onto my podcast because I wanted to ask him some difficult questions. I did ask those difficult questions, but again, I couldn't bring myself to tell him what I really thought, which is that he gives me the creeps. I say this not to be cruel, but to be honest. Of course, a man who dresses as a woman and admits to getting sexual satisfaction from that would give me the creeps. There would be something wrong with me if it didn't. I guess here, Julie just being, what was it? Unnecessary, untruthful, and like unkind or whatever the fuck for those three things that Debbie had to say. Um, she literally is like, this is my reality. That when I confront Tim face to face, I feel uncomfortable. Fact. That's a fact. Like, fucking yeah. Um, anyway, Hayton has now written a piece slagging off J.K. Rowling for pointing out that a male referee is a male referee. The insults of having eyeballs. He had the nerve to say that her tone was somewhat different from her original essay that kicked off the hatred against her and exposed him clearly and plainly as a misogynist. Yep. Now that Hayton is exposed as the ultimate trans activist that he always was, I can stop pretending he's not as bad as the others. Today I sent him a DM on Twitter telling him exactly what I thought of his grubby little article, and of himself. It's a lesson. I don't believe in cruelty, and I refuse to go along with some of those in the so-called quote-unquote movement and deride people for their appearance, for example. I very much agree with that. I will never comment on someone's appearance. I don't really give a shit. What they look like actually undermines your political arguments when you start like going on that level. But I will not do the polite thing anymore because I am sick and tired of it. And should any quote-unquote reasonable trans activist approach me at an event in the future and ask for a selfie with me, I will tell them to sod off. Is that it? A creepy man. Ooh, comments. No? Do we have to log in or something? Oh, they're likes and all comments. Okay, well. So yeah. Oh, strawberry, I'm about to end this. So yeah. I need to go because also a friend of mine was like, "Can we call today?" And I was like, "Yeah." Um, and they asked me that like 12 hours ago. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this isn't getting taken down. I do sometimes take down stuff because, like, in retrospect, it really seemed like petty internet squabbles that like I just weighed in on or like gave coverage to. I don't really want to be like a drama YouTube channel. You know those people that like they do like YouTube news and all they do is like cover who's fighting with who and then they take a side. I don't really want to do that. So sometimes when I look back at a live react, I'm like, oh, I kind of was just like covering internet drama rather than like actual feminism stuff. So I take it down. But I usually like I'm very impulsive whenever I start a live react. I'm just like, oh, it seems interesting, and then I like talk about it. So interestingness, it's like the number one factor. Okay, well, I guess I'll give you some final momos, and then we'll go. The lighting. She looks so pissed, guys. She's not pissed. Like, I think it's just the lighting. It makes like the way that the shadows are. She's just like half asleep. She's like asleep. Momo. Look at the camera. Yeah. Show us your eyeballs so you don't look so angry. She's like, dude, I'm trying to sleep. Okay, well. So yeah. Jean Doc says I really do enjoy Bindel's interviews. She's so funny. Mm-hmm. I miss you, Momo. Maybe Momo more. I mean, as it should be, right? Momo is never angry. She's like the most placid character. She's just like asleep or confused. Those are the states of Momo. Yeah. Or starving to death, obviously, because I don't feed her enough. So every time I look at her, she's like, feed me, I'm dying. Yeah, like cats are. Okay, I'm gonna go. Probably I will stream next Friday something, even if it's short. As usual, if it's something you want me to stream about, email me, gncccentric@gmail.com. Or, DM me on Twitter if you're on the Twitters. I'm printing zines now at cost, or I don't know, what I consider to be extremely cheap. So if you know someone who needs a zine to be printed, I will like print it, staple it, cut the edges straight, all that shit, format it. Like I'm there for you. I just want to keep a copy for myself for my like feminist archive. So if you know any women who are trying to print zines about shit, send them my way. Obviously, my email gncccentric@gmail.com. Yeah, I will see you probably next week. I hope you all have a great weekend, sisters. Okay.